Ok, al parecer todo está listo. Nada más probando audio. Probando audio. Nada más que esto me detecte para ver que todo esté sonando bien. Horas de aplicación en Twitch. Ahora sí estamos. Vamos a ver cómo suena bien. Probando sonido. Apenas si me escucho, ¿verdad? A ver, hola, bueno, sí, sí. ¿Cómo me escucho? ¿Cómo me escucho? ¿Todo bien? A ver, hola, bueno, sí, sí. ¿Cómo me escucho? ¿Cómo me escucho? ¿Todo bien? Parece que todo está en orden. Entonces, pues nos vamos a compartir como siempre. Ah, disfruten la musiquita mientras. Yo lo estoy disfrutando. Y vamos a compartirlo en Facebook. Bonito. Bonito. Viernes de indies. Y ahí está en Facebook. Ahí está en Facebook. Bonita música. Ok. Entonces, todavía no le... Oh, sí me marcó la categoría. Qué bonito. Mira. A veces esto sí funciona. Ok, for Remains of Edith Finch. Vamos a poner el New Game y vamos a ver cómo me escucho. Sí, venga. Vamos a empezar. Todos juntos desde el principio. Ok, ahora sí, ya empezamos. Súper, súper. Ahora sí, estamos en vivo. Ah, vamos a poner esto bien aquí para que pueda ver el chat en caso de que haya mensajes. Ahí puedo ver todo. Vale, vale, pues. Bueno, pues. Ok. Ok, sin nada que cambiarle aquí. Odin, Edith, Sam, Walter, Calvin, Bárbara, Molly, Don, Gus, Gregory, Kay, Edith, Milton, Lewis. ¡Ay! ¿Por qué todos murieron tan jóvenes? 22 años, 11 años, 13 años, ¿un año? Ah, Dawn sí vivió más, vivió Senjai. Dawn vivió, ¿qué? 2, 32, 42, 48 años. Bueno, no es tanto. 33 años, 53, 11. Ah, Eddie, afortunadamente, él sí vivió más. 83, 93 años. Bárbara vivió 16, 10 años. Molly y Odín vivió 57. Pues muy longevo, no es esta familia, ¿verdad? Asumiendo que es una familia. Bueno. Ay, 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 ay. ¿Cómo me muevo aquí? Ah. Ah, ok.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house. Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it. My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Mi hermano Milton desapareció cuando tenía 4 años, como si la casa lo hubiera atropellado. Milton es uno de los hombres aquí, sí. Ah, sí, bueno, en caso de que no se hubieran dado cuenta. Esto es...
But I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Viví aquí hasta que tuve 11 años, pero no me permitían entrar a la mitad de los cuartos. Esto es What Remains of Edith Finch, ya saben, Annapurna. Todo bello con estos compas. La semana pasada terminamos un juego de Annapurna, The Artful Escape.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Adentro del buzón había cartas que decían que pues, eran urgentes para abrir de inmediato.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Había regresado desde el funeral de mi hermano Lewis. No, que no pasaba. ¡Ay, las letras! Classes will be prosecuted. Se tengan.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know.
Una llave.
Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Nos dieron una llave y no sabemos para qué. ¿Qué habrá ahí abajo?
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Manejado algunas huellas. Uy, venado. No te vayas, te estás genial. No.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
La verdad es que aunque heredé la casa, no te creí.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Esa más peculiar. Oh, unos carteles del hermano. Espérame.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Miedo a la casa. ¿Y puedo abrir aquí directamente? No. Pues como, ¿verdad? Ah. Pero es por
Crawling
aquí.
through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Y ahora ya no puedo. Okay.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Fácil abrir. No sé
For the
qué estoy
first
haciendo,
time
el
in
juego empezó
years.
así sin más. Por primera vez en años, enero de 2010.
I felt like I was home.
Por primera vez en años sentí que estaba en casa.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Una familia, solo de memorias de una. Eso es triste.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Buena manzana.
Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we had Chinese a lot.
Cosmic. Okay. Por acá, supongo.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
La mesa era un desastre de la noche en que nos fuimos. El desastre de la noche en que nos fuimos. ¿Qué estoy haciendo exactamente?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
What? Fue como si no hubiera explotado, matando a todos menos los muertos. No es un juego muy feliz, que digamos, ¿verdad?
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Nada era normal en la casa, solo que había muchas cosas como una sonrisa con muchos dientes. Dice nuestra querida Edith. Down Finch. Welcome tempura, algo table. Todo es de comida, ¿verdad? Ah, no, miren, ahí tiene la metamorfosis, por ejemplo. La left. Simon the Gods, The Memory of Abel. Swedish for Tales, East of the West of the Moon. Qué buena biblioteca. Estoy seguro que todo esto tiene un significado. Así son estos juegos. Ok. A ver. Ay, tiene un chelo. Ok, todo esto nos va a conectar aquí. Esa es la puerta de entrada. Y... a ver, ¿esto qué es?
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Hay que verlos al final. Ah, acabó. Armario.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Muchas cosas se quedan atrás con el remolino de esa última noche. Ok, podemos subir o podemos abrir esta puerta así. Hey, también tiene un violín y cello.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Oh, el sótano, ok, pues todos los caminos llevan arriba. So... mitos nórdicos. Pastorania.
After Milton
No se
disappeared,
repiten.
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Ok, lo poco que estoy entendiendo es que la desaparición del niño hizo que la familia entrara en una crisis tremenda. Empecemos por... nada escalofriante, ¿verdad? Este es el cuarto de Molly, perdón. ¿Qué es o no?
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Oh.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
20.000 leguas de viaje submarino. ¡Ah! ¡Ey! Encontramos por aquí sirve la llave.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Antes de venir aquí y ver que cree también la mamá realmente, vimos que la llave abría ese pasadizo con 20 minutos de viaje submarino. Quiero checar más de la casa. Todos los cuartos están cerrados. Voy a asumir entonces que conforme el juego avance voy a ir desbloqueando voy a ir encontrando las llaves para abrir todos los cuartos. Es lo que me haría sentido a mí. Ay, me espanto.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Bárbara Finch. Asumo que era la estrella de la casa, de la familia.
Edie's father,
eres?
Odin, built the original house.
Ok. Tenemos un mensaje en el chat. Este será habla, se suscribió con... ¡Hey! Baby, gracias. Gracias por la suscripción. Gracias. Bueno, pues qué bonito cuarto. Pero pues hay que entrar aquí, ¿verdad? Ok.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Por las pinturas era claro que mi hermano Milton había estado aquí antes que yo. O sea, hay otra pintura aparte de esa.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
No tenía
But I had
función.
no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Yo estoy igual de perdido que tú, mi niña.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Oh. Cuarto de Molly.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Okay. Diciembre del 47. Molly está por aquí. Molly, sí, del 37 al 47. Oh, vaya. Oh, ok.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. Before my mom sealed the doors.
Ok. Molly, sí, está su fecha del 37 al 47. Miren. Molly, del 37. Tenía 10 años. What the fuck?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Todo empezó el día que mamá me envió a la cama sin cenar, así que salí a buscar algo de comer. Ok, estamos controlando a Molly ahorita.
My Halloween
Vale.
candy was all gone. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
¿Te comiste la zanahoria de la mascota? Niña. ¡Ey, un pez! No te vas a comer el pez, ¿verdad?
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Ay, Dios mío. Niña, eso no, Molly. ¿Cómo que pensaste en comerte a Christopher? Niña, eso no. Es un pez vivo, Jesús.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Me encerraron. Bueno, encerraron a Molly, no a mí. Bueno. Ajá.
I kept eating and eating.
¿Te comiste la pasta de...? Ok, sí tenías hambre.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Comí muchas cosas esa noche. What the fuck?
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Okay.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
No.
And suddenly,
No.
there
What
was a cat.
the fuck? Ay. Okay.
I
Ok,
tried
somos
to
un
be
gatito.
quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Ah. Ah. ¿Dónde está? Ah. Ay, Dios.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Ay, cuidado, cuidado. Ok, supongo que... sí. Ya te vi.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Pero no te desesperes, gatito. Bueno, Molly.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
¿Y por qué no dejas al pajarito en paz? Eres una niña, no un gato de verdad.
I gobbled her up,
No.
and suddenly I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
What?
Rabbits.
Ay, 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 ay. Fallé. Ay, no, si lo atrapé.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit.
Podemos dejar de
She was
hacer
almost
esto,
too
por
big to
favor.
carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
¿Qué?
And suddenly, I was a shark.
What? Ay, ¿cómo se puede aquí, no?
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was
Okay.
hungrier than ever.
¿Qué estamos cazando acá?
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Ah, es una foca.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good. I grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
¿Qué soy? ¿Ahora qué soy? Oh.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
¿Qué estoy jugando, bro? Molly tenía problemas.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I swelled into new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
Estoy en el cuarto de Molly otra vez.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
What? Okay. Ah. Ahí estaba el gato. Lo escuché.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Oh.
I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
Ok. Ahora estamos en el cuarto de Edie. Ya vimos qué le pasó a Molly. Eso fue escalofriante.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Edith Jr. O sea que hay otra Edith. Only concepts.
One summer,
Okay.
they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Mujeres de 2 años se rehúsa a evacuar debido a un pequeño incendio forestal. ¿Cómo se llama? Orcas Island. ¿Qué dice? Built 1937. Even Finch. Y más libros. Muchos más libros.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have,
Oh.
but she didn't.
Soy algo tipo el gran beso. Sven Brown kills her.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Ah, me falta eso.
Her room was like a museum.
Odin Finch 1880-1937. Okay.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Ay.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Oh, Odin Finch entierra las dos víctimas de la maldición de su familia, su esposa Ingeborg y su recién nacido.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
Ok, se fue con su familia y su casa.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Oops.
Odin's daughter Edie, with
hundió la
husband
casa.
Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Orcas Island. La hija de Odin, Edith, con su esposo Sven y su bebé Molly, llegaron a su nuevo hogar.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Odin Finch es el primero de la familia en ser
His daughter
enterrado.
Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Su hija Edith ya sueña con una nueva casa Finch. ¿Sí diga? No, nada. Espera, está repitiendo ahora, ya.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Okay. Bueno, ya encontramos entonces qué le pasó a... ¡Uy, qué bonito está esto! Ya encontramos qué le pasó a dos de los que están... Ah, okay.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Sí. Poquito. Puedo abrir la tina, ¿no? ¡Ey! Parece tino de baño mexicano. Oye, fuera del color, qué bonito baño. ¿Podrá abrir esto? Hay un secreto en este baño por Sven y Edith Finch.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Oh.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Espera, no puedo seguir por ahí entonces, ¿verdad? Ahorita entra ahí, solo quiero... ¿Qué dice? Siéntate bien. Estoy bien sentado. Ok, es por ahí. Estoy bien sentado, lo prometo. Vamos un poquito encorvado para ver bien la pantalla porque... si no... Y sí tengo lentes. Sí me los puse. What? Vaya, era un cazador. ¿Cómo voy a agacharme? Aquí. Ayuda. Ay, no, eso no es. Perdón. Bueno, supongo que te vas a agachar sola, ¿verdad? Ah, sí. Milton. Hey. ¿Qué es esto, Dios mío? Pues salimos. Ay, me asustaron. Babosas. Oh. Sam Finch. No te agaches, solo estaba viendo el trofeo. Vaya, no veo con qué interactuar aquí. Parque Nacional de Finch. Fight. East. Era una fichita, compa, ¿verdad? 120%. A ver. Entonces aquí que... Fort Calvin.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Oh. Ok. Uy, qué bonito está esto. Bueno, el cuarto, no digo todo lo que está pasando en la familia. 1961. ¿Quién murió en el 61? ¿Quién vamos a ver ahora? Calvin. Vale, 11 años. What the fuck? Explore the universe. Lift off the camera. Melody. Mucho cine.
I guess
No,
my
no
grandpa
cine,
didn't like
fotografía.
history any more than my mom did.
Ah, pinche caras, me asustan. Calvin, del 50 al 61, 11 años, ¿qué pedo? Molly a los 10 y Calvin a los 11.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Cuando se decidía, eso se hacía. Muy bien. Ah, ok,
My
está
brother said
controlando los
he'd
dos
die
piecitos.
before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Ups.
At Barbara's
Mi hermano
funeral,
dijo que moriría.
we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
No mames, que me voy a...
Calvin, dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said
Yeah.
that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up.
Por favor, ya.
Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Shit.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Ay, Dios.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Pero distinto, no, ¿verdad? Más bien no había venido aquí. Aquí, así que hacemos que solo queda salir de la habitación. No puedo salir de aquí. Entonces,
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
oh. Oh, wow. No, pues, ¿cómo te iba a dar miedo la casa, niña? No manches.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Espera. ¿Para qué lado es entonces? Esto me lleva... No sé dónde me lleva esto. ¿Y esto dónde me lleva? Ah,
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
oh, qué bonita guitarra. Ok, obviamente no voy a poder aquí. My friend Bigfoot. Son como el equivalente de los Oscars, ¿no? Bárbara Finch. Oh, Hollywood. Alicia en el País de las Maravillas. Secrets to a New You, A Better You. Masters of Cinema. Ok, esto es de cine, de Hollywood Workout, Masters of Cinema. Siddhartha. Poética. Any Shapeshifter. The Red Carpet. Ok, entonces tiene que ver con cine. Ay, mi cuello.
I never
That's
thought about how
decent.
hard it must have been for her afterwards.
¿Qué dice? Del 44 al 60. 16 años. The fuck. ¿Qué pedo con las edades?
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Okay.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe.
Oh.
I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Ok, tenemos que dejarlo bien. Ah, no, soy yo.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Ok. Esta música no me da muy buena espina.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
No mames, no. Ya me asusté.
It rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Hijo de su puta madre.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
No, ya no, otra vez ya no. ¡Ah! Siempre había creído que la música de Halloween no era tan efectiva hasta que estoy jugando esto. ¡Hijo de su... Ah.
Walter, are you there?
No puedo
Walter
voltear.
vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And here he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Not. She played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
Claro.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Ay, Jesucito. No está.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Lo que más quiero es Bárbara, corre.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty
What?
hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. I call a
What?
real eerie tale.
What?
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Eso fue espantoso. Se la mataron los fans. The fuck.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Ahora en qué parte estoy. Ya vine para acá, ¿cierto? Esta es la habitación de Molly. Y esta es la de nuestro compa, sí. Entonces, son...
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Pero ahora tenemos que ir al sótano. Después de lo que acabamos de pasar, tenemos que ir al sótano. Pues, al sótano. Ahora, ¿dónde está el sótano? Así acá. ¡Oh, es cierto! Sí están ahí. A ver si Twitch no me dice nada por la música de Halloween. Y si Twitch no me dice nada, seguramente YouTube lo va a mutear. Ya los conozco. Oh, es ven. ¿Qué dice? Snug tight. Madera.
Mom said the basement was
madera.
off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Tetanus shot. Ya no me hables de vacunas porque estoy recién reforzado. Ven, ¿qué dice este libro? ¿Cuál es la Clear Brush Thinner? Ok, todo esto es de madera. Ya pasamos por Sven, ¿no, verdad? Ah, este es Sven. Ay, Dios. Ok, no puede ser. Aquí ya.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
No veo nada. Ay, hijo de su madre, ni con
I thought
lentes,
maybe
¿no?
she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Oigan, esperen, seguro no puedo tener nada aquí en el donde dices ven. Porque pues sería raro, ¿no? O sea, dices ven. Ah, pero no está su fecha de nacimiento ni de muerte, así que no. No veo nada. Ah, oh.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
En efecto, es el único patrón que veo, que todos murieron muy jóvenes. Walter. Ok, llegamos a Walter. Brasil, Rusia, Finlandia, India, Francia, China, México. Hey, México, España. Walter. 53 años. Pues al menos llegaste adulto, carnal. Por lo que he visto.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
No puedo creer que he estado aquí abajo 30 años. ¿Qué?
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
What?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just
Fuck.
stopped.
Desde 2005.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
¿Qué libros hay aquí? Ahora. Esta es la familia. The French curse, unleashed.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin.
Whatever killed Molly.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Es una pintura. Spiritual warfare. Exorcism.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Fuck, estoy en las vías.
Now that there's
Bueno,
only
lo
one
vas
of
por
us
fuera, ¿verdad?
left, or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Oh, fuck. ¿Ah? Ya no existe la vía. Ok, por acá entonces.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Si
But
pudieran
I
ver mi
thought you
cara
should know
ahorita,
about your
veríanlo.
family.
Podrían ver lo impactado que estoy.
And the history you're a part of.
Es que sí es importante eso, Edith. Saber a qué perteneces, qué pedo con tu familia. Bueno, yo creo.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
En efecto, Edith, estoy perdidísimo.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Oh, that's work.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
Ah, no, no es por aquí. Es por allá.
What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
¿Qué clase de familia termina de construir un cementerio antes de construir la casa? Esa casa. Oh, voy al cementerio ahora.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Centro de mascotas
3
me
of the
hice sentir
gerbils
más
were mine.
incómodo.
2 had been my fault.
Oh. Son mascotitas. Oh. Oh, ahí está Christopher. Max.
Sven built the house, but it was Edith who designed the cemetery.
Holy Finch. Oh. Calvin. Voy a volar. Sven. Edie. Está Walter. Barbara. Qué fuerte.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
¿Cómo se va? Wow.
Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Espera, ¿por dónde es? ¿Por qué vi los caminos?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Ah, ese.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Oh, es la casa. Holy.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
Oh.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
¿22 semanas de embarazo? Jesus. ¿Qué hay aquí abajo?
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Perdón
They
si
were
no hablo
both pretty
tanto, es que
intense.
el juego no se presta para que me la pase interrumpiendo la narrativa.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Okay.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Ok, asumo que todo esto tiene que ver con la guerra o con armas de alguna forma. Sam, 33 años. Ok. O va a tener que ver con fotos.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? We'll never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Uy. Ah, los pajaritos.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be moving.
Are you done yet?
Does it sound like I'm done? Nothing quite like being outside. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Oop. A little more gas in the tank, I guess. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Bonnie.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, That was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail with deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. Let's see.
Asumo que tengo que buscar un venado, ¿cierto? Sí, pero para
Maybe.
encontrarlo.
Or was it?
Venadito. ¿Ven un venado? Ay, hijo.
Dad!
No sé que él tenga el
Eyes, Don.
¡Oh!
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Ok. A su madre.
Dad, I.
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
Oh.
Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
Oye, no, espera. La regué. Ah, fuck, sentí horrible.
Hang on, kiddo. Just trying to get a shot of the two of us together.
Sentí horrible, no manches.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so-
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think.
Dad!
Fuck.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Ay, Jesús. Eso no estaba ahorita. El ático.
Poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh no. Ya sé por dónde va esto. No, 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 no.
Rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Ay, Dios. Está fuertecito el juego ahora. Race flag, breakfast contain duties, down. Contestación por los niños, gran poesía americana. Me encanta que cada miembro de la familia tiene como su propia biblioteca para definirlos.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
La Biblia.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
Sanjay, 8/18, 1989, la fecha. 86, creo. También el papá murió. Live, polite, sustain. Pensamiento crítico.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Más libros, por supuesto. Es la Warning, Fortress, complicado. No alcanzaron los otros.
Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
Teach and learn the dumb Finch. Cruz. Nota científica, observación, investigación, hipótesis.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
¿Dónde vive esta gente? Están aislados por completo del mundo. Espera, entonces ¿qué hace ella?
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Ok, tenemos opciones. Vamos primero entonces a Milton. Allá, no, ahí acaba. Entonces, Milton primero, ¿no? Milton y Lewis. Asumo que ahorita van los dos. Tiene la fecha de nacimiento. 92.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, bueno.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Lo que sea que Milton encontró en la casa, mamá no te...
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Asumo que... ¿Atún? Marihuanis en la marihuana.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Suena a mí. ¿Qué dice? No alcanzó a ver el chiste.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse.
Oops.
Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Fuck.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Whoa.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Whoa.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. he held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Wow.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Es increíble cómo el juego ya te hace que empieces a descabezar a los pescados en automático. La rutina, su tiene.
The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Oh.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Creo que esa ha sido mi parte favorita del juego hasta ahora.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Oh, this is here. Hello?
The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. Rest, I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
¿Quiénes quedan? Down y Eddie. Allá. Okay. Sí.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Ooh. Ooh.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
Me perdí.
I started seeing things.
¿Qué ¿Qué simboliza el venado? Desde el principio está...
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed.
Fuck.
Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, fuck. Estoy llorando. Ay, Dios mío. Son las fotos de ellos de chiquitos. llorando. Ay, Dios. ¿Qué es esto? Es el segundo juego de Manapurna que acabo en semanas seguidas y el impacto ha sido de... ¡Wow! Definitivamente abre fronteras de lo que uno puede percibir de los videojuegos. Uf. ¿Y qué nos tardamos? 2 horas. 2 horas 20. Qué cosa de juego, qué bárbaro. ¿Cuál de esos dos es Jeff? Eso sería bueno saberlo. Otro con hermano. Pongan ustedes nomás quién es. ¿Neil Druckmann fue de los que lo jugó? Wow. Ah, Sony Santa Mónica. Está ahí. Replay a story. Option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. O sea, puedo... Todos tienen su propia... Claro. Pues... bueno. Con esto... se termina el stream de hoy. Hoy mismo empezamos y terminamos What Remains of Edith Finch y... tengo que procesar lo que acabo de jugar porque... está fuerte. Estaba llorando ahorita. Wow. Wow. Pues muchas cosas que analizar de este juego. Pero no tengo palabras. Gracias, my friends, por acompañarme y gracias por acompañarme en esta, no quiero decir aventura porque creo que es más que una aventura. Pues nada, gracias, buenas noches y nos vemos para la próxima. Esto fue What Remains of Edith Finch en este viernes de indie. Chao, my friends. Pasen buena noche.